the good stuff. Oh, no. This isn't some cheap Metafy guide. This is free. What's that? You don't know how to use it? Alright, I'll show you, come. So you want to learn to play Dromai, eh? Well, I took down my local skirmish this past weekend on the Draconic Illusionist. I think Dromai is in a really good spot meta-wise at the minute. I don't think you have any terrible matchups. I think you're amazing into fatigue. Like this deck, auto wins against fatigue. I'll show you how. There's some innovations in here that mean you cannot lose to Oldham. You beat the Wizards most of the time. You're very good into Briar. I haven't lost a single game into Briar, both rated tournaments and online, since the structure deck came out, or chapter deck came out. And your worst matchups are Flarvel, but I beat 2 out of 3 Flarvels I faced on the weekend. And the other one is Fi. I think you're about 40 to 45% into Fi, maybe even a bit better. So first off, you gotta know how to use Dromai, right? She's all about the Ash, yeah? So we cut up the Ash. But Ash is useless without knowing what we're gonna do with it, right? So we'll start with the equipment. Our weapon is Stormer Sandakai. This just says our dragons get to attack for free. The 2 helmets I'm playing are Glory Seeker and Silken Shroud. This one is by far the better one. If I can get away with playing Glory Seeker into as many matchups as possible, I will. I even play this going second into Briar just because I love it so much. Silken Shroud is mostly in here for going second into Fi and going second into the Wizards as well. And also just for Blaze too. This is insane piece of equipment. Try run it into as many matches as you can. Be greedy with it. The one chess piece that I'm running is Smouldering Scale. This is mostly a block 2, but into Icelander it covers up the Frostbites nicely, and against Lexi as well. If they finish their turn with an Arctic Incarceration, you can just say no. But the Smouldering Scale goes incredibly well with Old Leather Boots. This is a huge upgrade for the deck. This plus this means that against Briar and against Fi, you can cover up a Snatch with just your equipment now. So you can play your turn as though they don't have a Snatch and not get punished for making the wrong call, because now you can cover it super easily. So this replaces the Blade Beckoner boots. The other boots that I'm wearing, well, I'm not wearing, but I play, are Seeker's Leggings. This is just for going second into the matchups where I run Silken Shroud, and it's also for the Wizards as well. And then the 2 arm slots. Wave of Reality, this is the main one. It just helps you cover up 2 breakpoints, and it's good into certain Wizards as well. And then the last one is Silken Form. I play this going second sometimes just so I can make Ash turn 0, but for the most part, this is here because it makes me an Ashwing in the mirror, and it makes me an Ashwing into fatigue as well. And that Ashwing converts for 3 damage on the final turn, which is very important. So that's the equipment all together, and I'll move on to the main board next. Alright, I'll start off the main board with the attack actions. I'm playing 2 copies of Ravenous Rabble, 2 copies of Blaze Headlong, 2 copies of Dust Up, 2 copies of Doombreaker Senpai, 2 copies of Sweeping Blow, 2 copies of Red Billy Mirage, 2 copies of Yellow Billy Mirage, and I guess I'm playing 1 copy of Phoenix Flame as well. Ravenous Rabble is just a 0 for 4 starter. This is insane with Dromai because it gives your whole board go again because it works with Dromai's hero power. Blaze Headlong, 0 for 4 extender, incredibly good. Dust Up, 0 for 4 Chain Ender that offers almost infinite value in some matchups, incredibly strong. And now Doombreaker Senpai, this is a card that at first I was like, well, it doesn't really make any sense to run this because, you know, it's 2 card 6 if you value Ash at 1. But I find that matchups where you go second and don't run the Glory Seeker, this is super important. And even into fatigue matchups, using this as a Chain Ender to make 2 Ash and help you pitch stack faster is very, very good. Also sometimes, against fatigue, because you're just going to attack with this anyway, you sometimes catch them in a non-popper hand by mistake or by accident and you win the game on the spot. So there are some upsides there to it having Phantasm. And then next card is Sweeping Blow. This just generates an Ash when you pitch a red, obviously, but then also when you play it. So this is super important for the deck. You need to resolve 2 of these in as many matchups as possible, especially if you've not played the Glory Seeker. Even if you have played the Glory Seeker, if you're looking to play all of your Chromais, all of your Asflies, and both of your Rakes to their fullest value, and maybe a Sand Cover too, then you need to make sure you're playing these up. And then next, I've got Red Billy Mirage. This is a staple, super good, makes an Ashwing. I'm playing the yellow one because I wanted a card that worked into the mirror and was good into fatigue, but wasn't, you know, a 2-block or a chain ender. It wasn't clunky essentially. And so I came up with yellow Billow Mirage. The 2 power means that you can clear a Chromai and a Kyloria very easily, or even just send it into an Ashwing, make an Ashwing, send it into another Ashwing, and you're good to go. So you have more board presence into the mirror, and into fatigue you make an extra Ashwing while pressuring your opponent's hand so they can't, you know, maybe go face, or you take all their cards so that they can't clear a dragon, or they take damage because they want to clear a dragon. So really good card. It being yellow also sometimes comes up as a good thing because it means into wizards I can pitch for AB more, but also I can play Themai with just pitching this, which is super strong. So it being yellow does come up, can be a bit annoying seeing this turn 0 with Glory Seeker, but it shouldn't happen too often. And then the last attack action in the deck is Phoenix Flame, and the Phoenix Flame will make more sense when I show you the Bannerman package that I'm running. So I'm playing the head, the chest, and the arms. This is the order in which they are best. So the head one makes a Ponder, crazy value. Chest one makes a Vigor, which is really powerful into the tight matchups with aggro, like playing a 1-card Kyloria because of this is super strong, for example. And the arms, they're okay, but you're always guaranteed the value from the might token basically, so they're very consistent. And yeah, the idea is, because we're pitching reds anyway in Dromai, we want to get extra value from pitching these reds, so why not play one of these, search out Phoenix Flame, get extra value from playing this, and pitch a red, and you'd have to worry about the Phoenix Flame for the rest of the game. Because you're playing 3 of these, you shouldn't see them before you see Phoenix Flame. I will say that on the day, every single game I played, I saw Phoenix Flame before I saw the Bannerman pieces, or I saw them at the same time. Statistically it shouldn't happen, but even when it does, it's clearly not a train wreck. So yeah, that is the non-dragon cards. Now for the dragons, 2 copies of Rake the Embers, and really I'm just maxing out on every single dragon that there is because all of the dragons are super broken and amazing. So another reason why I'm maxing out on all the dragons is I believe that into fatigue I need to play enough dragons so that I can build a big enough board at the end of the game to kill my opponent. The best dragons are the 0 cost because into aggro the value on these is just crazy. Chromai just protects you from poppers, it's super good. Miragai is tempo into the right matchup. Yenderai never dies. Kyloria is a must block. Themai makes wizards want to kill themselves. And Uvia into the right matchup is a must kill or is just like an absolute value machine. The most broken card in my opinion though in the deck is Rake the Embers. Into certain matchups like Briar or even Phi, if you go first and you resolve Rake the Embers, you are so far ahead. The value this card gives you is crazy. And it also means that you beat fatigue rather easily as well. So this card, absolutely cracked. It kind of makes a lot of games feel unfair, especially the warrior matchups. You just can't lose to warrior, and this is one of the reasons. So yeah, these are all the dragons. It's the reason to play Dromai. They're super cool, super fun. Play all of them. And then I will move on to the sideboard. So in the sideboard, 2 copies of Essence of Ancestry Body, 2 copies of Arcane Polarity, 2 copies of Sand Cover, 2 copies of On the Horizon, 2 copies of Test of Strength, 2 copies of Rake Over the Coals. Then the last card in the deck is the 1 copy of Time Snap Potion. So we have a few different packages in here. This is like, these 3 here are like the aggro packages. This is the wizards kind of slash aggro package, and this is the fatigue package. So Essence of Ancestry Body, you play this into Phi, you play this into Briar. If you see this going first, it's absolutely crazy. This card can win you the game on the spot, especially if your opponent takes a load of damage to send damage back and you use this as your chain ender. The game basically ends with that chain. And then the 2 Arcane Polarities, it's a red, it's a 0 for 4, and even if you don't get it for its full 4 value, what you can do is play it on your turn and give your whole board go again. So yeah, this is just a really easy include for the deck, good into wizards. Sand Cover, I actually think going first, I'll always play 1, but I actually into decks like Briar and Phi, no matter what, I'll play a maximum of 1, and I won't side it in going second if I'm playing the Silken Shroud, just because I don't have the Ash to do it. And because I got so many 4 blocks on top of these, I don't feel like I need all the copies. And speaking of 4 blocks, On the Horizon, it's just a very easy include, 0 for 4, it makes the Briar and Phi matchup so much better. And so does the Test of Strength. The Test of Strength is incredibly good. It doesn't really matter about the clash, it can give you some very good information, but it's just another 4 block that really helps shore up Briar and Phi as a matchup. And you might notice that I'm not playing any copies of Passing Mirage, so I think a big improvement that I've made on the deck is that I realised Passive Mirage isn't that good a card. Into Oldhim, yes, Oldhim will just clear it straight away, but that could be any card, that could be any dragon. So like Billow Mirage is basically here for Passive Mirage because it has the same effect on the fatigue decks, except it also deals damage and it's not a clunky blue that you can reveal off Rabble, it doesn't have to be your Chain Ender, and it saves a space for Mage Master Boots. It does make my Flarvel matchup a little bit worse, but I think that matchup is already so bad that I'd rather not tech for it. And it's not really relevant into matchups that aren't trying to fatigue you, in my opinion. So I just cut it from the deck and it saves me 3 slots because I don't have to run Mage Master Boots anymore. The card that is winning me all my fatigue matchups, like you objectively win every fatigue game, is because of Rake Over the Coals. So what you do with Rake Over the Coals is you pitch stack this with 2 Chromais, and you basically, at the end of the game, you build up your huge board, your opponent can't clear enough dragons, you end up with like 10 Ash Wings, 1 or 2 miscellaneous dragons, and then you play 2 Chromais, and you play double Rake Over the Coals, and all of a sudden you're doing like a 40 damage turn out of nowhere, and your opponent just explodes on the spot. I did this to a Flarvel opponent in my top 4 game, and I did it to a Terra in the finals as well. There's just nothing they can do, they just have to sit there, swing hammer all game, and watch as they get deterministically killed. And then Tiny Snap Potion, I'm playing 1 of this because in the off chance that your opponent has 3 poppers in hand on the turn that you go Chromai, Rake Over the Coals, this just insulates you from, you know, that eventuality. And as well, what I like to do is I'll play my first Chromai, swing it, it gets popped. I'll then play or activate the Time Snap Potion and swing the rest of my board until he pops something else, and then I'll play another Chromai. Just in case I don't kill my opponent, it means I have a Chromai on board next turn and another full board, so my opponent has to have 2 poppers again to make sure I don't see the game out. But in every instance I've played, I have killed my opponent on the big turn. And thus concludes the Dromai deck tech. Hopefully now you've learned how to use your Ash properly. Big shout out to the people that played at the Skirmish as well. I'll just give a quick tournament report. Round 1, I lose to a Flarvel. It's a horrible matchup, I'm quite dooming. Round 2, I play against a Oldhim and I win that game pretty handily. Just with this package, is just inevitable that you win. And then round 3 was a Briar, shout out to Win More TCG. I had a very close game against him. I made a slight misplay blocking my equipment, but I eventually solved the game out. Briar is an interesting matchup because as Dromai, you can easily tempo them down, but you can also fatigue them as well if they're not careful. So you have 2 different ways to win that matchup, which is great considering how many Briars are running around. And then my last round of Swiss was against another Flarvel, which was not great to say the least, but he played a Staunches into me and he arsenaled 1, and I dropped 2 Themais and he could not get that Staunch out of Arsenal. That just gave me the space I needed to see that game out. And then luckily an Enigma that was playing a Blaze through the game, so the Blaze won, and that let my tiebreakers allow me into top 4. In top 4 I play against a Flarvel. This Flarvel decided to do an impression of Oldhim and not try and kill me, instead try and kill my board, and that just gave me all the space I needed to set up the kill turn. And then in the last round was against a Terra. Kind of similar story to Oldhim, except you don't have to play around the Ice React. Just double Rake Over the Coals, 40 damage in 1 turn, they exploded. So yeah, Skirmish is really fun. I think Silver Age, if you're wanting to play a deck that has a lot of agency and is a lot of fun, then Dromai is the right call, because you really don't have that many bad matchups, and even the bad matchups that you have chances. But anyway, if you have any questions, any thoughts, let me know. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good day.